Tell too much,
I ain't gonna tell about John. I'm gonna tell stuff.
Well, you might tell about him a little bit, but if they don't know about now, they'll never.
There you go. There you go.
Look, I'm really excited about Brandon Presley's candidacy for governor in the state. I think that the moment is right, the time is now, and I think that if you're interested in bringing about change in Mississippi, I'm talking to y'all now, I ain't talking to Brandon, I'm talking about you, but to the listeners, you want to bring about real change in Mississippi? You want poor people to have a voice in the governor's office? Do you want disadvantaged small businesses to get a shot at being able to get some help from the state, get some business from the state? Do you want affordable health care for everybody in Mississippi? You want that. You want affordable housing for everybody in Mississippi? Jobs and training opportunities, hope and opportunity versus death and destruction? If you're interested in young people staying in Mississippi and their family and friends and not having to leave the state because there's no opportunity, if you're interested in Mississippi using some of those hundreds of millions of dollars it sends back to Washington every year for child care, housing, rental and homeowners assistance, grocery stores, health care. If you want any of that, maybe you just want some plain old better life in Mississippi. You want any of that? Brandon Presley is your guy. And he's here to talk a little. I'm talking too much. I'm going to let him talk a whole lot, but I had to say that because we have a shot here, folks. And if we don't understand that and don't take this shot, I don't know where Mississippi is going to end up. Brandon Presley, welcome to Tell John.
Thank you, Senator. It's good to be here. You know, at the end of the day, everybody out there listening tonight, everybody knows that Tate Reeves could care less about them. And that's why I'm in this race. You know, you can tell a lot about somebody who's been in office 12 years as lieutenant governor and the state of where things are in Mississippi right now. Report out last week, we had the worst health outcomes of any state in the United States of America.
Right.
Tate Reeves has done nothing in 12 years to do anything about it. He's done nothing to try to help invest in Jackson. He has done nothing to try to help clean up state government. And so I'm in this race to make the lives of every Mississippian better. And we have been purposely and with planning and with precision, this bunch running the state right now have tried to divide Mississippians along race, along region, along socioeconomic status, and they think that if they can treat voters dumb enough in this election, that they can win and they can hang on to power. And I believe come the cool breezes of November, we're going to send Tate Reeves packing back on that road he helped get to his house out in Flowood, and we're going to win this election.
Well, that's great to hear. And Brandon, I think what I'm hearing in the black community is we got a bit of a familiarity curve or a learning curve, if you will, for who Brandon Presley is. You've been out there on the battleground since you were 23 years old.
Right.
Folks ought to know you, but that, the way things work, folks focus in on what they, what's in front of them right then and there. So if there's one thing that you want the listening audience to know tonight, who is in this demographic with that WMPR serves, what is that one thing that you'd like for them to know?
That I'm going to be a governor that pays attention, that I'm going to be a governor that listens, that I'm going to be a governor that sits down and brings everybody in this state to the table. And I am not going to play the cheap games of the past to try to divide this state. I think it's, you can look at Tate Reeves' record and the fact that as governor, he has not done anything to try to help the citizens in the Jackson Metro. We've had not only the water crisis here, but and when it comes to economic development, when it comes to actual affordable housing, issues that matter to people, he's not been there. If I'd have been governor during this water crisis, I'd have been walking the streets of people that had lost water. He wasn't out walking those streets because he never lost water at the governor's mansion. He does not care. I think the governor can send a tone in bringing Mississippi together I've talked a lot about doing the true outreach in this campaign to African American voters and not taking voters for granted.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe in the idea that somehow because you get to be the Democratic nominee that you're just going to automatically win votes. I want to earn votes.
I tell you, you're not going to automatically win votes.
That's right.
Just by being the nominee. Folks have got to understand that you care about them and that you're going to be there for them. And I think that message is starting to resonate out there with folks. I do want to ask you though. So if you have a chance to get your word out, is there one particular way that you're wanting to do that, or are you just throwing a whole bunch of tools up against in the war?
Well, we're going to look at every, obviously, traditional means of advertising, whether it's TV, radio, but also we began doing something no campaign for governor or any campaign in Mississippi has done before. And we began knocking on doors the first week of June. Most folks.
Wait a minute, a governor for the gubernatorial candidate in Mississippi is out knocking on doors.
We began knocking on doors in June. We've had volunteers in the metro area. This last weekend we had in Tupelo, Hattiesburg, Gulfport, Jackson, Hernando, Greenville, because I don't believe, number one, I want folks to vote for me because they want to vote for a movement to clean up state government, a movement to pull this state together, a movement not to play the politics of the past. And I don't believe that you can go out and do that without, obviously you got to advertise. But also, I believe in old-fashioned knocking on doors and asking people to vote for you. And we've already attracted hundreds of volunteers all across the state that are knocking on doors. I was at an event just before I got here, and a lady came up and said, "Oh, somebody came to my door last weekend knocking on my door to vote for you." That's the type of campaign I want, because I think for so long, voters have not felt like anybody in the governor's race cared about them, or they took them for granted.
And I want to address that issue of apathy, because people have gotten a little jaded and discouraged that anybody in any race of any consequence cares anything about them.
That's right.
And so how do you combat that? How does candidate Brandon Presley combat that?
Well, number one is go and ask folks to vote for you. I mean, put in the sweat, put in the shoe leather, go, and not be afraid to go, and talk to people, and listen as much as you talk. I think is very important. Secondly, is talk about issues people care about. We've got a health care crisis in this state right now. And as you mentioned in the intro, we're turning back, just in Medicaid dollars, we're turning back over $1 billion a year because Tate Reeves wants to play cheap politics with people's health care. I want to change that. I want to expand Medicaid. I've said that I'd sign an executive order from the inauguration platform the day I'm sworn in to enroll our Medicaid department in Mississippi into Medicaid expansion and work with the legislature to do the fixes that need to be done. This election can have consequences for people's lives. And this governor has shown us time and time again he doesn't care. He doesn't care about the city of Jackson. He doesn't care about voters that don't vote for him. And that's not the kind of governor I want to be.
Well, I'm going to point out two things that I found really odd in recent weeks. The first is dealing with the legislative session. For the second year in a row, the governor vetoed some much needed, much deserved projects in Jackson that were going to help us create jobs, improving the quality of life, deal with providing additional health benefits. He vetoed a $50 million cancer research center last year for the University of Mississippi Medical Center. And then we had about a $13 million project that was going to provide a Robert Trent Jones signature golf course, but also provide an inner city program to teach golfing to inner city kids. And then the downtown, we had improvements being made to the planetarium, to the convention center, and he vetoed them last year. Right. Well, we didn't do the Cancer Research Center this year. We did the nursing teaching school that's going to have a groundbreaking in a couple of days at the medical center. And then we are with all the projects that he vetoed last year, we got him back in, and he vetoed them again.
Yeah. Well, he's shown clearly through every one of, whether it be the water crisis, whether it be any of the issues dealing with the city of Jackson, that quite frankly, he just doesn't care. I mean, if anybody listening to the sound of my voice believes at this point in his career that Tate Reeves cares anything about voters in the city of Jackson or the welfare of the city of Jackson economically or its people, then, I think that to me it's clear as anything that he doesn't care.
Yeah.
He's concerned about what helps him and his
Right.
buddies.
And another observation, the second observation. We've had a lot of tornadoes in Mississippi over the last few weeks. He might have gone up there to Rolling Fork and Humphreys County. I hope he did. I pray that he did. But I know that it seemed like there was a lot more fanfare with his going down to Lewin to doing a site visit, because that's a voter, a sweet spot of voters for him. And I don't know if he felt that same way about the folks.
Yeah, well, I think you tell a lot about somebody. This last week when we were pummeled with tornadoes all across Mississippi, he jumped on a plane in the middle of that and flew to Birmingham, Alabama for a fundraiser. Right. If you give Tate Reeves the choice of a fundraiser or helping people in Mississippi, I tell people all the time, the most dangerous place to be in Mississippi is between Tate Reeves and a campaign check. That's the most dangerous place you can be in this state. And so, my thing about it is this. As governor, I want to be a governor, number one, that's real, that understands the problems of the state, that puts aside the old, worn-out mess that we've seen in state government, where politicians think that somehow it's all about them. It's not. You're going to have 4 years, and if you get reelected, you got 8. But then the day is going to close. And what have you done to help people in Mississippi?
And Brandon, if you're just listening, tuning in, you're listening to Tell John. I'm Senator John Horn. Got a case of bronchitis right now. But my guest is Commissioner Brandon Presley. He is a 4-term commissioner of the Northern District Public Service Commission. He has made quite a name for himself as a champion of the little guy. In that position, he wants to become the champion of the little guy for the entirety of the state as governor of the state of Mississippi. And he's here asking for your support to help him do that. So, Brandon, if I would think that you guys have identified Central Mississippi as an area that you've got to focus on.
Absolutely.
Is there a local office where folks who want to volunteer or donate can go to?
Absolutely. So we're opening up offices all across the state. Okay. And we're working now to open up an office in Jackson. We've already got a staff office opened up here. We'll be opening up.
Where is that?
Right off of Capitol Street.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so we're working, but we're also looking to open up another office where volunteers can come in to do phone banking, get signs, whatever they want to do to be a part of the campaign. Mm-hmm. We're going to open up offices in Greenville, Hattiesburg, all across Mississippi, because I want to make sure that our campaign is out where the people are and that we're doing the things that matter. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. All right. So let's talk about the primary. Yeah. Do you or do you not have a primary?
I do not. So I'm the Democratic nominee now.
Okay. So you are the Democratic nominee. The governor who's incumbent,